So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to New York Football Talk. It's been a while,
Yep.
but we are back, man. Different day just because, I had to stream some badminton last night. So, oh wow, we can start the show already, man. I ain't ever
You already
monkey
know.
right on
You already
time.
know who's here,
We
man.
can start the show right on time, man. So welcome back
Monty.
again. Of course, I'm not alone. My guy, Jared Valluzzi. Do we even need to introduce him at this point? What's going on, Jared?
Man, nothing much, dude. What a crazy weekend we had. I mean, it's nuts that New York football feels like it's buzzing right now, and we're in May, right? It's just awesome. And yeah, man, so excited to be back. I mean, New York football talk. Come on now. We're back. It's awesome.
Yeah, man, Mac. I'm sure people is like, "Yo, where's Mac? Where's Mac? Where's
Yeah.
Mac?" Mac will be here. Don't worry. He has a few things to attend to. He'll be here very, very soon. I see W talk in the chat. I'm sure that's Team Long Island,
Oh man.
or if you're talking about New York football talk, not sure. This is absolutely hilarious.
Muncie,
Yeah,
man.
just so you guys know, Mac is not.
Uh,
We did not give Mac the pink slip. He's just, he got a job in the
you know,
PSAL, so we can't really have him on a
yeah.
podcast.
It'd be a little bit of a conflict of interest potentially.
Yes, but for sure he's gonna make his appearances for sure. So yeah, we'll get a third member. We'll figure that out. Look, there's already applications in the
Oh
chat,
man.
Coach. Well, Coach Ed. Well, technically, we do talk about Cardinal Hayes. So
That's interesting.
yeah, you on the short list though. Like you're on the short list. That's all I'll say. Thank you.
Wait,
I would like to see your credentials. You know what I'm saying? We got this way. We got the media magician over here and Jared Valluzzi with the voiceovers and everything like that. So, we gotta make sure you come correct. You know what I'm saying? Um yeah, so we just have so much to go over. Obviously we have the Rising Stars game. That's the first thing that we're going to go over, of course. The PSAL schedule, of course. Jared graduating, everybody.
appreciate that.
College graduate, Jared Valluzzi. Congratulations, my guy, again.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And then I also posted something on the Sage story asking what topics people want to talk about. That got a ton of responses. We are going to cover a few things that people mentioned in there. So clearly, you guys are excited. It's been a while. So,
Oh yeah.
of course, we're going to start with the Rising Stars Bowl, just like Coach Ed is saying. It was a great game. 5 offers. I actually did not know that there were 5 offers. I know of the one. So if you guys, definitely share in the chat who the offers were, because I know of the one that we're going to get into, but I didn't realize there was 5. I love that. Coach Youssef saying congratulations to you, Jared.
Thank you, Coach Youssef. Really appreciate it.
And by the way, not only will Mac be here, but not only will Mac be here, we will have some other guests. The question of how many colleges came to the game, if I'm not mistaken, it was 23, but I will confirm. Mac will confirm. I'm pretty confident it was 23. I think I saw that on a social media post or something like that. So yeah, so let's just get into it. 17-15, Long Island, defend home turf, get back, whatever you want to call it. They get the W. I mean, first of all, I just want to give a round of applause for the athletes for sure. I mean, we're playing a game in May. What do they have? 4, 5 practices. So a ton of these guys are multi-sport athletes, and it was high quality football out there. We mentioned it on the broadcast, how many all-state players, how many all-conference players were on that field, and it really, really showed. So huge shout out just to the athletes in general. You guys really showed out. Of course, the coaching staff, you guys were great. Some people on the coaching staff will come up on here today to speak a little later. But Jared, your overall thoughts on the game, man?
Yeah, one thing that, Coach Mack was able to do and everyone involved in the Rising Stars Bowl, hats off to them for, having this event. I thought it went really, really well. But also in this game, and honestly, just what makes it so special, dude, like players from all different conferences, whether it's like the smallest divisions on Long Island. So, the PSAL 4A, some private schools. Of course, Lehigh was in the building. We'll definitely talk
Yeah.
about that. And, all of the city, all of the island, so many of the top guys together actually in pads, something that, we're just never going to unfortunately get to see until they go to college, where we'll get some of those matchups. So the fact that we had that in May, unbelievable. And also the atmosphere at that game. A lot of college coaches, which was awesome. But man, the stands were packed. People were loving the food trucks. Yeah, just a lot of great music. Everyone really seemed into it, and it was awesome.
Huge shout out to the venue, LIU
Yeah.
host, beautiful venue. The the press box a little hot, but we we got through it. No, we got through it. I mean, no, huge shout out to you guys. I mean, we had the whole entire press box, including the roof, access to the roof. I didn't even realize. I thought the coaches were going to be upstairs, actually. So I didn't even realize we could have used the entire booth, not just that middle section, Jared. Um,
Yeah. Mhm.
so of course, a shout out to Jared Valluzzi, man, just being on the call with Jared. Uh, Jared, we only bring Jared on for the big games. The PSAL 4A championship and the Rising Stars Bowl.
Hey man, now that I'm home, I'll get some more in there, which is good. And yeah, Andre, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure. So much fun too, honestly, especially this game.
See, here's the thing, Coach Mac. I wasn't asking for it, but it was there and it wasn't working. So like when you have something, it's like it's there, but it's not. I'd rather just not be there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Or it's like, all right, fine, guys.
Yeah. So Jared, we have to start. To the winner goes the spoils. Team Long Island. Now, just this is probably the easiest question I asked you, but just give me a few of your standouts from Team Long Island.
Man, I mean, first off, a guy that I knew was pretty good going into this game, but after leaving it, I was just very, very impressed. Darian Oliphant from Uniondale. He was excellent for Team Long Island. He really showed off his athleticism. He had a clutch touchdown at the end of the first half, which really helped out Team Long Island. I think actually their only offensive touchdown technically throughout the day. They had a numerous amount of big plays, but Oliphant made a huge play. And I mean, his speed and his athleticism and how dynamic he is with the football was displayed on a couple of occasions. Really impressive. And this is what's also, awesome about this game because, at Uniondale, they weren't that talked about really last season at all. Not a lot of coverage for them. They didn't have the best record, but he's able to play in this game. And I know Uniondale's on the up and up, and so is Darian Oliphant. And also, Jack McCarthy, one most outstanding lineman. A lot of great guys in the trenches for Team Long Island, I have to say. McCarthy really led the way, and he was excellent. And of course, the big one, Kyer from Lehigh. I bet you can take that one for sure.
No, I mean, just talk about, Kyer Griffin, Lehigh is a program we all know, especially for the basketball, of course, nationally
Yeah.
ranked basketball. But, we've been seeing, big offers coming out of Lehigh lately, Stanford,
Mhm.
wherever else it is. And to answer your question about the colleges, uh, not exactly sure. Again, when Matt comes on, maybe you can ask him. But there was let me tell you something. This is the game you want to be at. Simple as that. If you are a freshman, if you are a sophomore, you know, when your time comes, this is where you want to be. The media was out. Shout out to all the media that were outside. The coaches who were outside. Again, players got offered. Um, to talk about the streaming numbers, all of the streaming numbers were increased from last year. Last year peaked a little above 360. And then this game peaked at 415. The chat engagement way up from last year, and it was just tremendous. And if you were at the game, if you were on the live stream, I'm sure you guys saw, and Jared uh, mentioned the atmosphere. There was a ton of attendance in the stadium, making themselves heard, and it was really a great time. So if you're a freshman, if you're a sophomore, if you're an eighth grader, Long Island, New York City, this is the game you want to be at. So huge shout out to Coach Mack, Move the Chains Academy, for putting this together. So sorry, I got a little distracted there, but yes, Kyer Griffin. I mean, the thing I love about his game the most was, again, you talk about, like, if I'm a college coach and I'm watching a player start from the middle of the field and make a play damn near on the opposite sideline, I'm like, yeah, let me watch some more of his film. That's what he was doing. He's starting 15 yards off the ball. He's coming up, making tackles at the line of scrimmage or first contact at the line of scrimmage. He's getting sideline to sideline. And of course, you guys know what he did with the two interceptions. One was a house call. And listen, I actually just realized this, Jared. I guess, as commentators, we have things like, I guess when you commentate multiple times, you almost have like almost your own like catchphrases. Like you find yourself saying something multiple times. And for me, it's when I say like, guess who? And
Oh,
when I
guess
say
who?
that,
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, guess who it is? Of course it's Kyer Griffin, or of course it's this player, of course it's that player making another play. And yeah, on that second
yeah.
interception, you know, to give you guys a little context, when we're commentating when we're commentating a all-star game, sometimes we're going to be a little slower on our calls because we don't exactly everyone's wearing mismatched helmets. We don't
Mhm.
know exactly the numbers that people are wearing. Of course, as the game gone on, we got better and better. But yeah, like when I saw that interception, I was like, oh, of course that's Kyer again.
Yeah.
So, someone even left a comment saying, the schedule that Lehigh plays, of course, they have an advantage, that being independent, I'm pretty sure they can kind of make their own schedule. And you show that the level of competition that they play. And, Kyer was a huge standout. Also, number 3, Stan Numa. I thought Stan Numa at
Yeah.
cornerback had a great game, quite a few pass breakups, was in on tackles. That's what I love to see from cornerbacks, shedding the wide receiver, keeping his outside leverage, but not only just standing there like a statue, getting involved in the action, attacking outside in. You could see those fundamentals. So, the Lehigh boys absolutely, absolutely showed out. And I'm going to start with this and I'm going to toss it to Jared, the youngest in charge from Cary High School,
Man.
Justin DiPietro.
Yeah.
He met the billing. I mean, I'm sure his level of physicality took so many of the offensive line from Team NYC by surprise. I mean, he's reading the play, he's coming up. He's not trying to make a move and picking a side to beat the offensive lineman. He's going through you.
Mhm.
He's knocking you backwards, extending his arms, seeing where the running back is or the ball carrier is, and he's making a play. Again, we talk about Kyer getting from the middle of the field to each sideline. Justin DiPietro was doing the same thing. Every time you looked up, you saw Justin making a play. So, Jared, just talk about Justin, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that, like, I told you guys, but
I told y'all too, Team NYC. I told y'all too.
But before the game, when like we were talking and I was talking with Mac, I was like, Justin DiPietro, he's not your typical sophomore at all. He is literally an old school linebacker, kind of what you said, just will run through anybody and make plays. He had a special sophomore season at Cary, winning defensive player of the year, linebacker of the year as just a sophomore for the entire county, which is unheard of. And man, he was making plays, sideline to sideline linebacker, and one of the hardest hitters that, I saw in the Rising Stars Bowl and that I saw in Long Island in general. And another year, because last year, Travis Gamble, he was the sophomore in that game and he looked really good. And this time around is DiPietro.
You know how to pick the sophomores, huh?
Yeah, man. You get that one sophomore and they end up, being stars. And DiPietro is a great pick. And yeah, he just loves to hit people. And I think it's pretty evident. When he had the chance to do it in May, he was like, get me in there. And took advantage.
No, absolutely. So real quick, just going to the chat, I see some people kind of referencing some PSAL stuff. We are going to get to the PSAL schedule in the second half of the show. But yes, definitely shout out to Fort Hamilton sending 2 players Division One. Aiden Farley, I know, was one, and the second was Timothy Tan, I'm pretty sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Timothy Tan was the second one to get that Division One offer. So shout out to the PSAL, of course, and this one too. This is something we're going to talk about later, but the PSAL offers on offers on offers, whether it's
Wow.
D3, JUCO, D1, D2.
Yeah.
It's really has been incredible. So shout out to everyone. Shout out to the stars. Excuse me. Shout out to the coaches, coaching staff, and everyone. But without further ado, entering New York Football Talks for his last time as a host, ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, Coach Mac.
Yo.
Let's give him a round
Welcome back.
Everybody in the chat.
Fellas.
The finale, man.
Wow, I apologize for the late come on, man. I had to deal with a couple things.
Mac, it's your party though, so you can really show up when you want.
Nah.
Or just starting now.
It's not,
right? Like, Mac, you see the whole theme? We got the whole theme. I got the shirt on.
Nice,
You know what I'm saying?
man. Nice shirt, man. I love this. Where they are? So, what did you guys cover so far, man? I know I'm late in here. I see the comments on YouTube.
Yeah, no, we haven't covered so much. We're just going over some of the key players, or the players that stood out for Team Long Island. So we're gonna keep going with that. But of course, Mac, gave you your flowers privately, publicly, in other group chats, in front of the people on the internet. Huge shout out to you, man. I know, we've had many of conversations since Lord of Mercy, probably since the fall, about this game, and everything came together. I don't think there was one frown anywhere on the field, in the stands, in the chat for the live stream. All of the numbers increased from last year. So it's just a job well done, my guy.
Yeah, man. Definitely Monty, crazy, man.
You said you were on LinkedIn before.
Yeah.
Updated his profile. When people on LinkedIn, they update their profile picture and it says like looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The game went really well. Both teams played really well. Both coaching staff coached really well. This year I was able to actually watch the game. Last year I barely even saw a quarter. This year I got to watch the game. The kids were super Bunty crazy, man. But yeah, it was a pleasure, man. All the support, got a lot of support this year. That is
No, you see, that's why you gotta take care of your people. The second my guy's a free agent, you see the offers already booming. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, man. Yeah, this is yeah, man. Shout out to Coach Rudley, man. Wow, like he held it down. On game day, it gets crazy, and it's a lot of things that we don't expect. And he steps up and just filled a huge void that needed to be filled, just to make sure everything ran smoothly. Also, want to thank out Greg Dietrich from Long Island for getting us connected with the field space for us to practice. Coach Jones from Eagle, letting us use Eagle Field to practice, and Coach Harden at Boys and Girls, letting us use Boys and Girls to practice. And we shot the interviews with the kids. Even the score. I had some of the Long Island kids DM me, and they were sending me the screen recordings of the score predictions that the New York City kids were saying. Man, it was crazy, man. It was fun, man. The kids had fun. Even after the game, like the city kids didn't really care about the loss. I mean, of course, they was competing to win, but they knew the main objective. Man, they saw the college coaches on the sideline. A couple kids got offered that night. I want to shout out one student, David Jacob, from Erasmus Hall, man. And he got LIU offered that night. I spoke to his mom. She was just so excited about the event, about the opportunity, about the platform. So as long as these kids know the objective of this game, that's what really matters. Of course, we want to have the trophy back in New York City. Next year, there'll be another year for the kids to compete. Man, shout out Gigi in the chat, Gigi Media. Yeah, man, just a lot, tons of media. Shout out LJ, TYJ. I met some Long Island shooters. I know we were talking about in our chat about media and shooters from Long Island. I met a couple of those guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man, and they had some great content. Yeah, going into year 3, super excited. I got a call this morning that can really change some things moving forward for us. So let's just,
oh man,
keep hope. Yeah. Let's keep hope alive, man. I appreciate the support from everyone. Dre, Jared, appreciate what you guys did for the game, man. Yeah, this is definitely a moment.
No, absolutely. And again, it's not even about, David getting a prestigious D1 offer. It could be a D3. It could be a D2. It could be a JUCO offer.
Mm-hmm.
It's an opportunity. That's what all these offers are opportunities. And for what I do on Sage Media, I personally know that, recruiters and college coaches have hit me up and said that, they do watch the live streams and they watch the, even football talks, the podcasts, so they kind of have a general idea of who's buzzing, so they know who to watch in the upcoming week and who to follow. And, Jared, his work, all of the articles Jared writes, like literally Jared is an encyclopedia for New York City, for Long Island. I'm surprised he doesn't know Buffalo by now. There's a kid in Buffalo who just got a Georgia offer today, by the way.
Yeah, and he's at a Catholic school, so we could see him in the state championship against Iona, maybe St. Anthony's next year.
Maybe Hayes.
Cardinal Hayes.
So yeah, no. So let me get to my point. Jared, all the work he does, the encyclopedia. So many, I'm sure colleges use his social medias for information, and obviously Coach Mack. It all comes together with the actual game, football. Putting together the food trucks, the arena, the this, the that. It's all of us really teaming up together to hopefully give you guys even just one opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Ed, dude, I was gonna say Hayes. You guys are in the top 3.
Absolutely.
You're just gonna have to prove that you're number 1.
Oh, that's you got to prove it on the field, man. So, of course, huge shout out to you again, Mac. Um, and Mac, like for real, don't even be modest about it. You've been doing this for a long time. It's crazy. It's crazy the stage you're in now because you're starting to see some of your eighth grade all stars now in this game. I don't know
Yes.
if that started last
That's
year already or if this was
crazy.
the first year.
So it's
Yeah,
crazy. I actually just went through. I was going through my photos, and I saw a picture of Travis Harris at my first youth football camp. And Travis had to be about maybe 8 years old, man. And I'm like, damn, like he's about to be a senior in high school, and that just kind of showed me like how far we have came. Travis also played. Travis also played in the eighth grade game, and then now he was just featured in the Rising Stars Bowl. Man, it's crazy.
so huge shout out to you, Mac, for real. Shout out to
Yes, sir, man.
TYJ, like literally
Oh my
the
god.
hardest working person. Hold on.
Jeez.
Can I make myself bigger? Let me just do this real quick. Please credit TYJ for his work. I
Yeah.
see a lot of people clipping my guy up. Cut it out. It's one thing if you are an athlete, but if you're a media outlet, do not take his work without permission.
Yeah. Shout out to E, man.
Okay.
This dude,
Cut
man,
it out, please.
seemed like he's in the right spot at the right time. I'm like, yo, how did you catch literally every big play of the game? Um, Ruli, he was. Yeah, Ruli was actually, he did do that camp with me. In 2000, that was 2017. We did a youth camp. Ruli took all the linemen, man. He did an amazing job. I want to shout out both my partners, Randy and Andre, as well. Man, just came a long way, man. And it's still so much more. Like I have a book that I just kind of write down all these ideas of like what I want to do for New York City football, and I feel like it's been what like maybe like 6 years, 6, 7 years, and I haven't even really gotten to like even the midpoint of where I want to be. There's so much more to do. Amari Britt just came in the chat, man, had an amazing game.
Great game. Yeah.
Shocked the hell out of me, man. Like
We're
salute to Britt, man.
we're gonna talk about New York City. Shout out to Amari. You are someone I want to talk about. But we're still on Team Long Island. Like I said, to the victor goes the spoils. And who better to talk about Team Long Island other than their head coach, Coach Moose, man.
How we doing?
My
How we
God.
doing? How we doing?
Oh, he made sure to put that in the tag, Long Island.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Hey, before Moose gets started, man. And this is Dre. This is why I kind of hate taking all of the credit. This game wouldn't even be possible if it wasn't for Cornell and Moose, because one, I'm not connected with the Long Island kids. Two, I live in New Jersey. I'm commuting to New Jersey to Brooklyn to make sure the New York City team is situated. There's no way I can go from Jersey to Brooklyn to Long Island. And, you know what I'm saying? Those guys work so diligently hard out there. Him and Cornell just putting the coaching staff together, putting the kids together. Months of work, and just seeing, we'll have a roster in February, and that roster will look completely different in April. And we kind of we gotta move, and we gotta make sure things are in place, man. So this would not be possible. Like even when planning this game, I started out with Coach Roy. This is the craziest thing ever. This is like I kid you not, this is the craziest thing ever. Started out with Coach Roy. Coach Roy took the LIU job. So by Coach Roy taking the LIU job, he was no longer legally able to be involved with the game from what I needed him to be as. He introduced me to Moose. I had reached out to Cornell, merged those two together, and then like from there on, it just seemed like everything was just gelling like how it was supposed to. And it took a huge load off of me because I know that I can trust those guys out there to make sure everything is ran smoothly, and to make the game happen like how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I mean, it's always great when, we could forward New York, Long Island, New York City football. And Mac, you deserve your flowers, man. If they only knew what goes into it. I mean, you talk tickets, all the behind the scenes stuff. There's a lot that goes into it than just putting, May 17th kickoff at 6 p.m. There's a lot that goes behind it. So kudos to you, man. Thanks for bringing me along, and we're going to keep building this thing.
Absolutely. So, coach, just from a competitive standpoint, now I'm gonna be honest. I went to both practices, right? And I think did I say this on the broadcast? I think I did. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna say it right now. I went to both practices, and even before the score predictions were public or anything like that, I was like, yo, Long Island has a bit of a bite to them, a bit of an edge to them this year. There's a little bit of pad on pad action going on at the practices. Of course, New York City was practicing hard as well, but I definitely saw there was definitely a level of intensity that Team Long Island was bringing even to practice. So just talk about each practice and how you kind of built up towards the game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that intensity part, our second practice in, I think we got into inside run, right? And you had those two bulldozers, Tarasi and DiPietro. And I mean, right there and then, our team turned up as far as the physicality and intensity went. And we just gradually built on from there. And every practice, every single kid, we got more physical, the intensity got better, and just every practice, those two would be bringing it. And guess what? It trickles to the rest of the team. I think those two were really the ones that brought it in. On the offensive side of the ball, Jack McCarthy every day in and day out, Ryan Healy, Jaquan Thomas. I mean, just having those group of guys, the intensity is just going to come. And, it just got better as every practice went on.
Absolutely. This is actually an interesting question. I am going to I think all of us on the panel, let's answer this question. Let's start with Moose. Like, who do you think? Let's start with Jared. Who do you think was more physical on Saturday?
Oh, man. I mean, I thought both teams were pretty physical, honestly. That first possession that Team Long Island had, man. I mean, they really set the tone. They ran, downfield. They moved the chains well. I think some of those guys in the trenches really set the tone. But some guys on Team New York City, right? Though, like you had Amari Britt, and you had just some guys that were just ready to go at it. I think it's close because of some individuals on NYC really brought it, but I'll give the edge to Team Long Island.
Yeah, I like this question actually, because when I rewatch it, I was like, "Ooh, like both teams are really bringing it."
Yeah,
especially
you have to when Jaquan Thomas is running the ball, right?
Yeah, especially from the Team NYC secondary. David Jacob and Jacob Reed. David Jacob from Erasmus Hall and Jacob Reed from FJM. These guys were really bringing it. And, of course, Justin Tarasi. Also want to shout out, let me bring his name up. Yeah, number 56, Jaden Johnson, and number 58, David Lopez. So Jaden Johnson from Southside, David Lopez from Bellport. I really thought that they were bringing it. And you talk about physicality. I mean, coach, you guys are pulling too. You guys were playing. We're like, "Ooh, they running trap. They running power." Look, I
mean, our game plan going into the game was, featuring our playmakers, right? And, our line and our backs were pretty strong. So, gap scheme was working on for us on the first drive. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And kind of got out of it, kind of got slowed down on the first drive. But Those guys brought the physicality up front.
Hey, shout out to the kid, Jaquan Thomas. I don't know if you guys spoke about him. The kid Jaquan Thomas, tough kid. Even the kid Brian Falk,
Absolutely.
super tough kid too as well. The quarterback,
Sirs, man,
poise, great kid. I just found out the kid he plays baseball as well. I think that kid has a super bright future. And then the O line, man. I mean, whew, those guys were moving, man. You were pulling guard and tackle. I'm like, Moose is pulling a guard and tackle in the All-Star game. This is what I'm talking about. Like, getting these guys on the move. They were being super physical. I want to shout out the New York City defensive line for holding their own. I know coaches and some players, and this is what I like about this game. Coaches and some players talk about, kids playing in the 2A, kids playing in the 3A. You know what I'm saying? Amari Britt just got finished playing in the 2A and held his own against an amazing offensive line, amazing Long Island offensive line. I was shocked to even see it. So, I mean, that and this is what I appreciate about this game. Like, it really doesn't matter where you play as far as an individual. As a team, of course, teams in the 2A and 3A probably can't compete in the 4A, but as individuals, when you have kids like Britt, he works extremely hard in the offseason. Like, times like this kind of paid off for him. I was happy to see his performance. I know you guys were just talking about Jacob Reed. He had an interception, a big interception for New York City. Another kid that just got finished playing in the 2A. There's a lot of kids out. Even the linebacker from Eagle 3.
There's two of them, actually.
He wore number 2. He wore number 26 in the game.
26 was, Corey Gibson.
Yeah, man. Played an amazing game. Like, oh, my God. Did you guys talk about William from Midwood? Yeah.
Forte.
Like, and then guys were, like, writing me, like, yo, who the hell is that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what it's all
like
about.
the debut getting into that game. Come on.
It's like, I mean, of course this game, in this game is always going to have your big time players, even from, Victor from John Adams played an amazing game. Both the bottom of his cleats ripped off.
Wow, what?
And he taped his cleats back together and got back in the game and went to work. Thank you for bringing that kid up, man. He played an amazing game. But like I was saying, of course you're gonna have your big name kids. Everybody knows Tyshawn Bent. Everybody knows now Adrian Antoine. You know what I'm saying? You know those guys. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have those big names, but then in this game, you'll see these studs come out. You're like, yo, like William? It was like, where does he play football? Like, what high school does he go to? I'm like, damn, shout out to Midwood. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
No, you're good. What you want to say?
No, I was going to say, I want to piggyback off that while we have Coach Moose up here. Who was that kind of hidden gem player for Team Long Island that you thought kind of showed out more than you even thought?
Wow. It's a tough one, man. There's a few.
Who's number one?
Who's knows
what?
So hold on. Like, I know Andre, like, before I got on here, was talking about Darian a little bit, and there wasn't much coverage at Uniondale, so I was gonna go into Darian. I was gonna say Darian. I mean, I had the opportunity to coach the kid at Uniondale. I've been around him. I mean, the kid could hang with anyone in the state athletically. I mean, the kid plays from sideline to sideline, has an incredible motor, and just every play he's on the field, there's an explosive play opportunity. And that was one of my hidden gems because not much coverage at Uniondale, and he was
So
one of
is
those hidden
Uniondale
gems.
like I'm not really sure how Long Island football goes as far as like I don't know, do you guys have divisions on like school size? So Uniondale
Yep.
would be considered like one of the
Yep.
top in the top division?
Yep. So Conference 1, which is the most populated, it goes by population, school population. So Uniondale being Conference 1, and for example, like Conference 2, Conference 3, Conference 4, it goes by the
Gotcha.
population.
And his partner in crime, number 17.
Yep, Kyer Griffin, another kid who had the opportunity to coach at Lehigh when I was there for about 3-4 years. Kid that I've known since
Wow.
7th, 8th grade. Just incredible. Like just seeing the development of these kids has been amazing more than anything. Yeah, what happened on Saturday is great, but seeing the young men and the athletes these kids are growing into from what they were is the most rewarding thing. And Kyer Griffin, I mean, was all over the field on Saturday.
Yeah.
And a player I want to shout out, he really impressed me. This is what we talk about. You athletes coming up, like you want to be a player, even if you're just like you said, if you're not a Tyshawn Ben or a Kasim Cromwell winning all these awards, you want to be a player where after we watch you play, we say, "Who is that?"
Who's that? Yeah.
And that player for me was from Ward Melville, Joe Benedetto, man.
Beast.
Yep, 100%. I mean, Joey was a great kid. Number one, tremendous kid. All these guys, but Joey, tremendous kid. Stuck with the process. Was at every practice, asking questions on the Zoom calls and all this stuff. But tremendous, tough kid, hard nosed kid, and tremendous football IQ as well.
And Moose.
Sorry, go ahead, Mac.
No, go ahead, Jared.
All right, cool. I gotta ask because in a game like this, I know you did it, in the first Rising Stars Bowl, but I mean, kids from basically every conference on Long Island, big programs, small programs, private, public, having all of them come together, especially all of these players who have been like, the guy. What was it like, leading up to this game in such a short amount of time to, have them develop chemistry in an all-star game, but a competitive all-star game?
100%. That goes into the time you put in with these kids. I mean, off the field more so as well. So we were having about 3 to 4 Zoom calls a week leading up to the weekend's practice. We had our group chats for installs and things like that. And when it got to the practice field, we had a lot of skelly periods, things like that, just for timing purposes and things like that, just so everyone could be on the same page as far as chemistry goes. So, and the boys did a great job.
Another player that I definitely want to give a huge shout out to, Cole Villalta, man. When you saw what I was watching my practice and I was like, yeah, this guy is going to make an impact. But did you expect him to make that kind of impact that he did on Saturday, Coach?
Yes. And another thing, I've known Cole since he was about 10 years old. I coached him in youth football with the Massapequa Mustangs. I've known Cole. I've known Tristan. I mean, Tyler last year. But just always was a great kid. And another one, explosive play opportunity anytime he's on the field. And yeah, my man did get robbed of the first catch, but we won't talk about that. We won't talk about that.
I missed that on the call. I thought he got pushed out of bounds, but video evidence showed.
Definitely looked like it.
Absolutely. So listen, Coach, we're gonna get you off so we can go into Team NYC. Again, just huge congratulations to you. But I guess we'll give everyone a final question. I'll just say, so you saw the score predictions. I'm sure you used that in your motivation. And after taking the loss last year, just what did it feel like? I know, it's just an all-star game. I didn't feel like it was just a regular all-star game. This was a super competitive game. How did it feel to finally get that, but to avenge that loss from last year?
Moose, before you go, when the kids were walking past each other in the hallway in LIU, they were like staring each other down. I'm like, guys, you don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like the tension was high in the building. I'm like, you know what? New York City, you guys stay over there. Long Island guys, you guys just stay over there.
Yeah, even the lunch,
Yes,
even the
the
lunch line and everything. Yo, they're like staring each other down. I'm like,
yes, man, that's funny. That's funny. I'm back. Go ahead, Bruce.
Who's going? How do you feel to win to win the bowl game this year?
I mean, great. I mean, we all know this as competitors. You know, when you're coming off a loss and there's a lot behind it, you know, the whole Long Island versus New York City football talk, what football's better and whatnot. Just as a competitor, you know, it felt great. And it felt great for the kids, more importantly. The kids were excited. And another thing, it's like, yeah, the win is rewarding, but what's rewarding? Now these guys are friends for life, like commenting on each other's Instagrams, all this stuff, like reposting each other's stuff. So that's the most rewarding part of this. You know, the win's great. Don't get me wrong. That's great. Bragging rights, all that stuff. But by the way, it's right here.
Hold on, do that again. Yes,
Oh,
sir. Yes, sir.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
But you know, just a great thing, you know, where all these young men coming together from different conferences, different schools, and now they're like friends for life, and commenting on each other's Instagrams.
It was good to see the kids from last year come back.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Shout out to those guys for us.
These guys that were playing on, oh my god, they was like so hyped. I spoke to some of them after the game, like they were so excited that Long Island won this year. Like that was good to see, man. That was really good to see.
But yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Flowers to you, Mac. Flowers to you, Andre, and Jared. Thank you for everything you do for Long Island football, New York City football. Let's just keep building. And shout out to, you know, I want to give a couple shout outs real quick. Shout out to the New York City staff. They did a tremendous job. Shout out to my staff. I got the best guys in the world. And I wouldn't be able to do it without them. And we're just going to keep growing.
He did a great job.
Absolutely. Mac, Jared, any final words for Coach Moose?
Nah, these guys Long Island did an amazing job, man. Did an amazing job. Looking forward to having this game every year for it to get bigger. Yeah, that was nice. Nice.
Yeah, and I guess honestly, Mac really said it before, but thank you for everything in this game, Moose, and for Long Island football in general, man. It's yeah, you're a huge part. And it was awesome. It was awesome Saturday. So thank you.
Yep, of course. But I will see you guys. We'll be in touch. And one more time.
Let me make sure we get you right. Get you right.
There it is.
That's nice, man. That's nice.
Yes, sir. Clip that up. Clip that up.
Yep. All right. I will see you guys.
Got you. See you, man, Coach. No, that's great. Coach Moose, man. Great to have him on. Real quick, why y'all in the chat talking about Texas versus New York? What y'all doing?
I didn't really get what was going on.
Behave yourself. I'm gonna. Please.
I saw New York versus IMG in there, and I was like,
yeah, I didn't get that either.
I don't know about that, you know.
Anyway, let's move on to Team NYC. You know, I feel like it was very. Oh gosh, one person I wanted to shout out is number 19, Chris Bassetti, the kicker. Shout out to you, man.
Difference maker. You know, both teams had 2 touchdowns. He was one of the big difference makers.
Oh yeah, he did kick a field goal. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was good from like 45 at least, I think. All right, so let's move on to Team NYC. Listen, Team NYC, I thought they had a pretty good performance as well, but there's only one place to start. Of course, it's number 12, Adrian Antoine. Of course, you know, here's the thing about this player and players in general, you know. It's almost like you want to become like a usual suspect. Like every time the lights are bright, it's Adrian making a play. Tajay, Rich Perkins, leaving. Everyone's like, okay, Adrian, it's your time to step up. It's your time. Oh, look at the social media posts. Oh, you got this offer. Look at this. Look at that. That's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations. What does he do? 10-yard stop route, 85-yard touchdown.
Took a hitch to the crib. I'm like, I mean, what a ball too. Like, what a ball, but taking a hitch. He's super fast, man. That was great to see as well. I think he just got like 3 offers in the last like week or so. Yeah,
He's heating up.
his stock. Yeah, man. That was great for him. This was great for him. I'm super proud of Adrian and the South Shore crew, man. They've been pushing him and getting him in front of colleges. They're doing an amazing job, and I'm glad that he had the performance that he did.
Yeah, I mean, Antoine, he's like you said, his stock is rising, but oh man, that play, William Forte, his first play, I believe. Yeah, he comes in and fires a bullet at Adrian Antoine. Like throws a dart right on the money. And then Antoine, man, showing off that speed. He was gone. Shout out to Andre, one of the most electric calls.
Yeah, that was really good, man.
I appreciate it.
You want to be excited to watch you back.
And I mean, yeah, Adrian Antoine showing, that explosiveness that he has. And yeah, it was awesome. And he also had that second touchdown. Shout out to Jack Leary from St. Francis,
yes,
who threw that second TD. And I know, that drive kind of gets forgotten a little bit because Team Long Island still won, but Leary led that NYC team downfield. The Terrier QB looked great. And he ended up throwing that touchdown to Adrian Antoine. Also showed the mobility as well in that drive. Leary, he's going to be a nice dual threat QB for St. Francis Prep this upcoming fall.
Just last word on Adrian again. One thing I personally want to see from Adrian, and I know he's going to be able to do, is that I want to see his range of catches increase. Right, a lot of his damage last year was done off of screens, off of go routes, off of post routes, very linear kind of routes. Only natural for the offense that he's in. It was more Tajay and Rich Perkins kind of running those slants, those screens in the middle, those dig routes. And that's going to be him now. And what a way to show us that I'm going to take this mantle, in May. The thing I love the most about that, and maybe some people, you have to, everyone's a football fan here, but it's the catch turning to the outside, and it's the slight body feint that he makes to the inside what freezes the defender. So Justin DiPietro, we know how Justin gives it up. Won every award in Long Island. He's pursuing that play. And it's not only the speed, it's the change of speed. It's the change of direction. That slight move he made changed the angle. And then that's where he put on the burners right away, and Justin couldn't recover. So that's something incredible. Like, we all know that he can fly, but to see that he really has that change of pace in his game, that change of direction in his game, that's just tremendous work from Adrian Antoine, and all of the offers he's getting are well deserved.
Absolutely.
Exactly. No, exactly. This is why, I want to harp on this. Like, taking a hitch to the crib is not against those linebackers.
Even their DBs, man, they had a great defensive back core. Like, man, they put a team together, man. Like, I was super happy to see those kids compete. That was really good to see. I do want to shout out Jair Edwards from A. Philip Randolph as well.
The answer is this.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that. Yeah, what a kid. I mean, just competing in practice. There was one practice, I'm not going to lie. I'm like, either our O-line is just struggling or this kid is just really good. We had like a team period. It was at Eagle Field. We practiced at Eagles Field. They had a team period, and he was just dominating. And I'm like, damn, I text Coach Perlo. I'm like, this kid is that good? Or Like, what's going on? And he was like, nah, I think like he's a dude. And then to see him show out like how he did, man, quick off the ball, strong kid. Man, you see like he works hard. He seems like a great student athlete. It was great to see him play, man. It's really good to see him play.
Yeah, no, they had a pair of them too. Rock number 54, pretty sure he was wearing.
Another kid from Randolph, man. Rock
Mhm.
Kukunanu.
Yeah, so Randolph, you know how they're going to give it up in that 4A. Some people might be like, "Oh, they lost Travis. What are they going to do?" But those two in the middle,
They're gonna be solid.
absolutely. And of course, I know we've kind of been talking about it a bit, but Amari Britt, he made our I should have checked it, but he made our all media list, our media all city list, and I said 2A. I'm about to say 3A. Excuse me if I said 2A. But Amari Britt, like every time I see him again, he's a player that just pops out on the film. Mac, I mean, that's your guy. I mean, just talk about this kid. This kid,
Yo,
he is really showing out.
dude works hard, man. I think when we did the all media list, I think he was the second team. And
Yep.
when I came into the school, he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna show them why I belong with the first team players." I'm like, "Yo, you gotta, what I'm saying, let your play do the talking, and the rest will work itself out."
Make
Yo,
a team from the 2A is
yo,
something.
dude had a chip on his shoulder, man. He came out. He practiced well. All of the practices that we had, he practiced really well, and he did his thing. And like I said, that Long Island offensive line, yo, those kids were good, man. I mean, tough. They can move. 77. He's about like 6'3", 6'4", maybe about 280 pounds. I think his name is Trevon.
Oh yeah, from Hills
That's
East.
Trevon Cole Jenkins.
East.
He's one of the best on the island.
Yo,
He's a
solid kid. He's
Mhm.
like 6'4", 275. Can move. He's strong. Yo, like their whole offensive line, man, was really good. And just to see that matchup between New York City's defensive line and Long Island's offensive line, it was really impressive. I'm really happy to see what Brick did in this game, man.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll throw this one to you, Jared. Davi, a few people are talking about Davi Jacob. After going to Long Island's practice, I went to Team NYC's practice, and I went up to Davi and I say, "Listen, you need to have a big game.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a big game. Those running backs are gonna be tough." And I told him, "You're gonna have to come from 15 yards and make a hit at the line of scrimmage, 5 yards from the line of scrimmage." That's exactly what David did. So how about you talk about him and his performance, Jared?
Yeah, Dre, I think this had to be early on in the game where, Long Island, they had some success running the football, but then one play, David came downhill blazing
Mm-hmm.
and delivered a really nice open field tackle, hard hit. And you were just like, and there's Davi Jacob. That's why he's, one of the best hitters and tacklers and, DBs in the PSAL. What a get for E-Hall. And he made some plays where, he just popped out. And it was really incredible. Surefire D1 defensive back.
No, absolutely. And congratulations on the offer. Rudely, I did see it. That was very impressive. Mac, did you see this play? They run like this counter reverse with the lineman. Like the lineman take one step and then counter the complete other way.
Nah, I didn't see it.
I'm gonna send you the clip.
Yeah, please send me that clip. Yeah.
Also, Dre, one more thing about Davi Jacob. I remember when I was talking to just Coach Wheeler about him. Also, it's a 3.5 GPA.
Oh, he's an amazing kid.
Yeah, got to throw that out there too. I mean, really maximizing his opportunities with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So a bit of criticism I want to give Team NYC. It's something that always grinds my gears. If anyone's been around me, they know. It's the wide receivers and your blocking. Guys, you have to block as wide receivers, especially the game plan you guys were going for. You felt like you had the speed advantage at the edge, so you wanted to get your guys the ball quickly, get your guys the ball with space. But a lot of plays broke down because wide receivers weren't blocking, and the Team Long Island secondary was much more physical.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially in a game, the game was it 7-7 for a good portion of the game, 10-7 for a good portion of the game. And these, especially when you're playing against a field of all-stars, these kind of plays matter. Deli, how's it going, my guy?
Hey, what up, man?
You definitely showed out. I think all E-Hall showed out, honestly. I think all players had a pretty good game.
I do mention, man, it's been a while since I've seen this kid, not Deli, since I've seen this kid play. He was only able to play 3 games last season. Naeem Cooper, man, he got a few touches. He looked faster. He looked stronger. I know it's an all-star game, so you have all of these different talents around the field, so it's hard to really feature one guy. But on the touches that he did have, the kid looked explosive. Definitely looking to see what his senior season looks like, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So again, like I said, Team Long Island, please, excuse me, Team NYC, you especially take this into the regular season. All of you guys, all of you guys are probably some of the best players for your teams. Take this back to them. Like, listen, we need to block. Wait, would you feel like Coop didn't get? Wait, who is he talking about?
He's talking about, we had another kid, Ahmad Cisse, who played.
Oh, that's all right. I didn't realize that was his nickname. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but we call him Boosie.
He was on defense a lot, right? He played defense a bit.
He played. No, that's all he played in the game was defense.
Okay.
Like strong safety. But for Chief said he does play a little bit of running back as well.
Okay, got you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, Team MIC, all of you guys are some of the best players on your team. You guys have to bring back, that every detail matters, the interceptions, of course, they were very bad timing for Team MIC. You guys, shout out to, again, Jacob Reed, got the interception, put you guys in good position. You give the ball right back to Team Long Island. And Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, that was at the end of the half, and then they went and scored, right?
Yeah.
That gave them the extra possession to score at the end of the half, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Team Long Island, the interception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They got the INC, and it set up that Kurtz to Oliphant touchdown.
So essentially the interceptions were a 14-point swing, because obviously the other one was pick 6.
I was gonna say, New York City had more offensive touchdowns in this game as well, actually, if you look at it. And also at Team NYC, I do want to give a shout out, like Mac was just saying about Naeem Cooper, also Tyshawn Bent. Like, they didn't have those huge plays, but they made, a lot of quality football plays where you're like, wow, these are some really talented guys with the ball in their hands. Same with Kasim Cromwell out there. And it was just really, really impressive stuff all over the place from these Team NYC athletes.
Victor, you got in here right after I was yelling at the wide receivers. Please, Victor, I want to see you block.
He's going to be a beast at that. He better play in the Rising Stars Bowl next year. I saw him earlier that Saturday at the Elite 5 showcase. Looked really good.
He was trying to play this year. I had to hold him back. He was talking to me. He's like, "Coach, just let me play." I'm like, "Hey, we might need you next year, man." You know what I'm saying?
That's incredible. So I'm just going to go through this real quick. Shout out to the St. Francis Prep wide receivers. Sean Ibert
Oh yeah.
had a great game. Made some really tough catches too, honestly. And Rocco Petronella.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to you guys. Very, very sound technique wise. You expect that from Catholic guys, expect it from the PSAL as well. But I felt like I really respect receivers who can catch the ball in traffic, and especially Sean. He definitely caught a few in traffic. So huge shout out. Yes, Victor, please. Yeah, I know you're gonna catch your touchdowns, but make sure you block as well. So Mac, just last words on Team NYC, and then the also shout out to Malik from South Shore. Literally in the chat, he's the old number 9, or he's the senior number 9 for South Shore. In the chat, he literally called Adrian being the first person to score. It was like he called it a few plays ahead. It was hilarious. So shout out to you. They shared that on social media. But yeah, Mac. Actually, no, first let's go to Jared. Final words on the game, and then of course we'll let Mac close it out.
Yeah, I mean, incredible event. It's crazy that this is just the second one because of how successful
Insane.
it was. And I mean the buzz created around it. It was really cool. Had a lot of people excited, and man, the fact that the future is so bright and only up from here says a lot. So I'm just really excited, and yeah, shout out to all the athletes a part of it, because you look up and down each roster and you see just a bunch of guys who are going to ball out during their senior year. That level of play and level of athleticism on such a short notice, playing football in May, it's really incredible.
Final words.
Yeah, man. I'm super pumped for years to come. Next year's game, just taking it one game at a time. I think it's going to be an even bigger turnout. I know the guys who played in this year's game for next year's crew. Yeah, man. I just saw it today on Instagram, a commitment post from Trayvon Holland, who played in the Rising Stars game last year. He put his Rising Stars picture up in his commitment post to AIC. That was dope to see, man. So I'm happy for the kids. I'm happy for everybody involved. This is definitely a blessing, man. Definitely a blessing.
No, absolutely. And I want to bring this up as well. We really do a lot. And I don't want to. All right. Hopefully, this isn't disrespectful, but I do feel like we're going through a bit of a renaissance right now when it comes to NYC. Of course, shout out to everyone. Before, let's call it. Let me just be selfish. 2022. That's when Sage Media started. So I'm just gonna be selfish, right? Shout out to everyone before that. Of course, so many dogs that have gotten big offers and stuff like that. We don't have a number absolutely proving this, but I mean, there's a lot of offers. JUCO, D3, D2, D1. It's really, really incredible. And we have a ton of players getting recruited. Wagner, shout out to their recruiting staff. They've been getting a lot of players from New York City and from Long Island. And what I want to say to the players is definitely take advantage of this. Like I said, this is only the second Rising Stars game, right? I know this is going to sound very, very crazy, and I'm going to sound like an old guy, but I just got the letter for my 15-year reunion at my high school, and one day you are going to get that for your high school. I know it seems impossible now, but you are going to be 10 years down the road, God willing. And hopefully you can say, yeah, I was the second player to play in the Rising Stars game that's now has been around for 15 years. And that is going to be something so incredible. And to piggyback off of that, not only do we, is it a blessing to do this for, the players, Coach Mac, Jared, myself, we're also building brands. So we really hope that, you guys can continue to support us so we can make it to that, the 15th annual Rising Star game brought to you by XYZ. Like, that's what we really want to do. And that we have the expertise, the experience, the knowledge, and all of that is compounds interest as we keep going. So we really hope that, financially some people can, help Jared out, help Mac out, help Sage Media out, of course, you know? So now it's a little bit of a rant, but yes, support media.
No, you're right. Totally right.
Please.
All right. Just looking through the chat real quick. All right. So, who said goddamn? Of course, that was Bugsy.
Oh, Monty, man.
Yo, I'm looking through. I'm like, wait a minute, goddamn. At first, I was like, what is he talking about? I was like, wait, he's talking about me. All right. So, we got 45 people in here. The numbers have been increasing. I'm sure some people are getting off of practice or whatever. I think that is good timing. You guys, I've gotten the messages to talk about it. Let's talk PSAL schedule. We've been waiting for it for a while. Schedule has dropped. Jared, I know, hold on. So I will put the schedule up in front of you. Maybe not the whole schedule, but we'll probably go week by week, maybe.
Yeah, sweet.
All I'm gonna say, there is a spreadsheet I could show. Let me say I will show you guys the spreadsheet, but let me edit it a bit. Let me edit the spreadsheet a bit so you guys can see the weeks better. But just talk about your first impressions on the PSAL schedule.
Yeah, I mean, first things first, once league play starts, we got a couple awesome games. Tottenville South Shore, a game that we didn't see last year, right? Tottenville didn't play South Shore last year. So
No, they did not.
The fact that, we get those type of playmakers on this field, South Shore, they're always coming, and, Adrian Antoine's looking like one of the best receivers in the PSAL, going against Corey and Tyshawn early on, and, the rest of that amazing Tottenville team who, just got an amazing transfer today within Omar Mendez from Moore Catholic, and I'm sure some more will flow. And also in that opening week of league play, I think Curtis is playing Lincoln.
Yes,
And
they are.
That's a game right there. Especially, I saw some guys on Saturday from Lincoln. They are going to have a really good secondary, let me tell you. But I also saw the Curtis quarterback, Vin Canzaneri, who's going to be slinging it. So that's going to be really fun.
What's your first thoughts on the schedule?
Am I allowed to talk about this?
Oh, interesting.
Are you allowed to?
You should be fine.
Are you allowed to talk about the schedule? Yeah, I mean, what do you think about
schedule? Right?
I'm going to give a round of applause to the PSAL football administration. I think they just broke a record. This is the earliest that the schedules have been out. Wow. Schedules out in May. That's super impressive. I was happy to see that. That means those guys are working so diligent, so hard at headquarters. I think I don't know why the PSAL, I don't know how long they've been doing this, but the whole buy, I see somebody said it. The buy situation. This is not the NFL. This is high school football. Oh, what's this? Oh,
no, that was an accident. That's an accident.
No.
That did look kind of cool.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I don't know what's the whole idea with the buy situation. I'm not a fan of buys, but it is what it is. I'm glad the schedules are out early. I like how the 3A, 4A, even the 2 and 1A is looking. I think that the games are evenly matched. I think we have some very exciting games week 1. And I think for the first year, for the first year, I can honestly say you don't know who's going to win the championship in all 4 divisions. Because even boys and girls, like I thought that Eagle 3 going in was going to win the 2A this year automatically. But then I seen boys and girls move down to the 2A. Another school moved down to the 2A as well. So I don't think it's not going to be a given to Eagle 3. And then the 3A, man, it's some very good teams. Some very good teams in the 3A. I think it's going to be super interesting week to week. I think it's going to be really, really fun in the 3A. In the 4A, you got these kids transferring from more. Staten Island has gotten strong again. Erasmus has been pretty much handling business for the last decade. I think Staten Island is scratching and clawing. I think Eagle 2 is going to be very good this year. So it should be really interesting, man. I'm really excited to see what's to come. Even the non-league games that schools have already set up are super interesting, man. Just like you want to keep the fun in New York City football. That's the whole thing. It's when it's fun for the coaches and it's fun for the kids. Everybody gets involved. Last year we had some really big games. Like the Canarsie Lincoln game was packed. Canarsie South Shore game was packed. Millwood does play Chiefs this year. Monty, I hope you're at the game, buddy. It's the more competitive matchups we have, the more everybody looks forward to these games. Like I was talking about the non-league game, I'm so happy. I'm not sure who idea was it. I'm so excited that Hayes and Erasmus is running it back. Like running it back, that's dope. Like, yo, whoever made that call was like, yo, run that back. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the kids feel that way. So if you can express as a coach how your kids are feeling, we're making strides in the city, man. That's a stride that's being even APR taking on Chaminade. Like,
it's a big one right there.
Play? Like, what's up? That's a dope call for a coach to make. It's super exciting, man, and it's balancing off with the coaches and the players. Everybody's kind of getting into it, and it's good for the city. It's good for the coaches. It's good for the culture that we're trying to build, and it's putting our kids on a high platform. That Catholic school, public school debate on which is better football. A lot of that is getting. You can't say that. A lot of that is getting dealt with in the non-league games, man, and that's great to see. That is amazing to see. Like the steps that we're taking. Erasmus has been doing these big games for a while, but to do it against a formidable opponent within the city, Cardinal Hayes just was state champions. What? 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So for Erasmus to be like, hey, we have a powerhouse school in our backyard. Let's take on these guys. You know what I'm saying? That's something that as a kid you would want. So if your coach is now is on the same wavelength as you, that's just amazing, man. It's amazing to see. I know the whole city is waiting for a lot of these games. I'm waiting for these games, man. Waiting to see these games.
No, actually, it's box office stuff. We're gonna go through the 4A week by week, and I'm just so excited for it. We've all been asking for the schedule. I think the bounce, just like a few people were saying in the chat, is tremendous. Also, I know a couple of people are asking, like, "Oh, is this going to be the game of the week, or is that going to be the game of the week?" You guys should know by now how we do it on Sage Media. All the bells and whistles will be around it once the games of the week are chosen. A lot goes behind the scenes. when it comes to the games of the week and everything like that. So I'm lifting the curtain a bit, showing you guys the spreadsheet. Obviously, there's another version of this spreadsheet. That's all I'll say.
These are the games of the week.
No, this is just the schedule.
Oh, God.
This is
I thought
the
you
schedule by week, so you can't really find this that easily. Like the PSAL site has it by date,
Gotcha.
and you can't filter it by the 4A. So this is essentially me filtering it by the 4A.
Gotcha.
And I know some things have been shuffled around. I haven't updated it, and yes, there is a different version of this sheet. Some more markup, let's call it. So no, none of the games of the week have been chosen yet. Like I said, a lot has to go into it. A lot of phone calls behind the scenes. But yeah, me and Mac got to an argument over this, like in one of the on one of the episodes. Who are the four horsemen of the PSAL? In my opinion, is obviously still Tottenville, E Hall, Curtis, and Lincoln.
You know
So
my
if you
four.
call, I know you're four.
Okay. Just let everybody know. So my four is I got Rasmus, Curtis, Tottenville, and the boys over there on Flatlands Avenue, South Shore Vikings. They handled business last year in the playoffs, so they're part of the four horsemen down in my eyes.
Yeah, so Victor already highlighting week 3.
Week 3?
It's a big one. Yeah.
All right, let's just talk about the first. Let's just talk about the first 3 weeks for a minute. So first of all, out the gates, the defending champions, Curtis versus Lincoln. I mean, what a game that's going to be. Curtis, defending champions, who's bringing back the most talent. I don't know who it is. You think of Curtis and, with Caratelli and with the Iceman, Vinny, with Quader Gomez coming back, Jared Surrett coming back, Akai Lewis. I mean, they have athletes all over the place. Going up against this Lincoln team, I've been seeing a lot of their clips in the weight room. The boys in Coney Island looking strong, man. So I'm sure Lincoln wasn't satisfied with how last year ended for them. So really exciting. Jared talked about, their secondary, South Shore, Tottenville, a game I'm sure a lot of people are excited for. South Shore finishing in yes, every game says noon right now, but it's gonna change.
Gonna change, yeah.
That's gonna change. South Shore, Tottenville, South Shore taking out Lincoln. But obviously the top 3, especially last year, the top 3 in the PSAL is a different monster. So right out the gate, South Shore is gonna have a huge test. And even, E Hall, JFK, JFK, they got a tough schedule, but they have a lot of athletes out there. Nino Patansis, the quarterback, Jeremiah, only a sophomore. Can't wait to see what he got going. Port Richmond, New Dorp, big matchup out in Staten Island. John Rose and Kasim Cromwell. Fort Hamilton, Eagle, Brooklyn battle. Let's see, how Fort Hamilton is in the 4A. It's a really exciting. The week 1 out the gates are really exciting to me.
Dude, yeah. I mean, Fort Ham Eagle is one that really jumps out to me, man.
Yeah, I would say that's the best game. I think that's the best. I think that's gonna be the most competitive game in week 1. Fort Ham. It's gonna probably be the most competitive game.
That's spicy talk. Can't lie.
I can see that going down to the wire, Mac. I really like that take, honestly. That's gonna be.
And depending on what Canarsie retains, I think the second best game will be Canarsie Wagner.
No, like every week, like if we just jump forward to week 2, I mean, New Dorp has had their struggles with Curtis, but let's see how they can do. You're looking at that E Hall versus Eagle Academy. That's a rematch of the quarterfinals. Brooklyn Tech, South Shore, JFK, Fort Hamilton. I mean, this schedule is every week is just incredible games. I mean, Jared, let's speed up a little bit. Like, when you look at week 2 and week 3, what stands out to you? Oh, well, there's definitely one game, but I'll let you say it, Jared.
Yeah, no, definitely. Listen, I guess we'll start off with, week 2 first, obviously. I mean, Brooklyn Tech South Shore has me fired up. 3A champs moved up, Brooklyn Tech, their program really on the rise, of course, and they're going against South Shore, who, of course, are going to have a really, really good offense. That's going to be an outstanding battle. But I mean, week 3 is just loaded. I think especially when you look at the 2 games, I know Canarsie right now, we don't exactly know what they're gonna retain, but nevertheless, it's Battle of the Flaws. It's gonna be awesome. Canarsie, South Shore, and I mean, man, week 3, Tottenville, Erasmus Hall. Does it get much better than that? I mean, it might later in the season, but to have that early on, it's unreal.
Week 2, week 3, your standouts?
Yeah, that's dope, man. I just realized. I hope that's going to be a game. The Battle of the Floors last year was a game. Hope this year is somewhat entertaining. Yeah, so I'm curious to see. I mean, JFK has a hard game coming out against Erasmus, but then Fort Ham and Eagle.
That's a tough opening.
Wow, it is, man.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they put together, the first 3 games, man. That's going to be, and then Tech coming. Damn, Tech got a winnable game against Clinton, but then they have to see South Shore and Lincoln. Man, that's gonna be tough. Week 3, Erasmus Hall, Tottenville. Last year they had the game of the season.
Maybe even 2 of the games of the season.
Yes. Both teams returning a lot of players. Both teams got transfers coming in this offseason. That's gonna be interesting. 2 of the top players in the city. Between Tyshawn, 3, you can say 3, Tyshawn, Corey, and Amir. Oh man, yeah. I mean, Tyshawn and Amir's senior year, that's going to be a nice game to watch. I think a sleeper team, I'm going to say a sleeper team. I think a sleeper team, Andre, you're going to like this, is Eagle. I think Eagle is going to, let me see. Who does Eagle? All right, so I have Eagle. First 3 weeks, I have Eagle possibly going 2-1, man. You know what I'm saying? I know we don't like doing predictions this early, but I'm a prediction type of guy. This is my last episode, so I'm definitely going to go out with a bang. Definitely.
He said I might have loose.
2-1 for Eagle. I like that. Best duel back in the city at Tottenville, man. Man, yeah, Tottenville is going to be tough this year. I was even talking. I'm not gonna say which coach, but I was talking to one of my guys over there on Flatlands about that opening week against Tottenville, and I told my guy, sure, I'm gonna say it on here. I told my guy over there on Flatlands, I'm like, yo, y'all gonna win 7 out of 8 games. You know what I'm saying? You gonna win 7 for sure. South Shore is gonna win. I got South Shore winning 7 games. They play 8. I got them winning 7 games. I say, yo, coming out of the gate against Tottenville is with a young defense. Those guys, they coach over there. They coach very well. But sometimes, a team just has the better athletes on the field, man. And between Tyshawn, Corey, Dre, what's the other kid that they have over there? He's a young
Nick Constantino.
Constantino.
Yeah.
With Constantino coming back, and I believe their quarterback is returning as well.
Justin McGuire, yes.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Experience. That's their toughest game on the schedule. You're right, man.
No, for sure. I went through South Shore schedule. You know what I'm saying? I had a talk with my mans over there. And, they're going to win 7 games. But coming out the gate, if they – Jared, seriously, if they play Tottenville week 7 or 8, I think they're more prepared. But being that they play on week 1 –
I agree with that.
It's tough, man. It's tough. You just kind of got to be real with it. Tottenville is a seasoned team. I think Tottenville, they was extra point away or extra point block away from being in the championship game last year, and everybody's coming back. So that's tough, man.
They definitely lose. They lose the 2 cornerstones of their offensive line, in Cardona and Rocco, for sure. So they do have some talent to replace. Tottenville, yes.
Yeah, I think they lose somebody else too. My man, Michael Trinidad. He's going
and Trinidad, I forgot. Yes, that's 3 pieces they have to replace. Yes.
All right, so Dre, something funny about Tottenville. They're like an offensive lineman factory. You know what I'm saying? Like offensive linemen just come, and then Tottenville's offensive lineman is just they're not the biggest guys. You know what I'm saying? They're not the biggest of kids, but they're super tough. They play extremely hard. They'll have a kid 5'7", 5'8", tough as nails, man, and can block. He's gonna block to the whistle. Yeah, man, it's an old offensive lineman factory. So I'm pretty sure they have some guys ready to replace those offensive linemen.
No, absolutely. And one thing I want to say, I always, I have to commentate the game, so I usually, I refrain from the picks. I pick the playoffs because I got to pick the playoffs. But all I'll say, quite a few people ask me on Instagram. There's winning, my predictions personally, and for me, it's May. Let's see what the rosters look like. Let's see what the teams look like. Mac, have at it, please. But listen, we'll see. Even to me, when I look at this schedule, like there are no easy wins. I think every team. Okay, this is how let's go here real quick. Let's come back here real quick. So this is how I look at the schedule, right? And how I look at the teams. I feel like there are, all right, guys, follow my logic here. There are tiers to everything, right? So I think there are 2 teams that could possibly have 0 losses, or let's go by wins. There are 2 teams that can have 8 wins or 7 wins. And to me, that's E-Hall, Tottenville, and Curtis.
Wait a second. Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, Dre.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that there's a chance that somebody can go undefeated this season?
Of course.
That's interesting. Okay.
So let's call it this. There's all right. It's easier in my head if I go by losses. There are 3 teams, in my opinion, that can have either 0 to 2 losses, and that's E-Hall, Tottenville, and Curtis, for sure. Then I feel like there's Lincoln, who can have anywhere between 1 to 3 losses. Then I think there's about 10 teams that could have 2 to 6 losses.
Yo, Dre, you did it again. You did it again, and it's becoming a routine. Are you not putting any respect on that school on Flatlands?
I think I'm giving them a lot of respect.
No, you're not. You did it again with the Erasmus, Curtis, Tottenville, Lincoln thing. And I just got finished saying that I only see South Shore losing 1 game. And then you just did your whole segment just now, and you didn't say anything about it's concerning me. It's concerning me. You know what I'm saying? I had to point it out.
Jerry, give me a second, man. Give me a second. Max. You gotta stop doing this, Max. I respect everything about South Shore. You don't win 1 playoff game, and all of a sudden you wipe out 12 years of history.
12 years of, I mean, 12 years of, so we can only go by last season because it's
Right,
new.
Jared.
You know what I'm saying? They won the 2A.
All good, man. Gotta handle business.
I don't understand. The lack of respect is concerning me. Where's my glasses? Where's my glasses? Where's my no, yo, Jared? This is not good, man. The lack of respect for South Shore Vikings is concerning me. And you said
Monty
12
knows.
years. They just won the 2A championship. I know some guys in the chat don't put any respect on the 2A, but they won the 2A championship. And APR was in that mix. And I think APR was it the 2A? It might have been a 2A. Yeah. It was in the bowl or whatever. But yeah, so I think I only see South Shore losing one game. I think they're in that talks of the one. I don't see them losing 2 games. They lose 2 games. I have to call my mans up over there. But it's either 1 or 0 games. If they're able to pull off a miracle week 1, they're not losing the game. That's what I'm saying. I think there's a disconnect here between what we got going on.
All right, I will take myself out because I rudely took Jared out. Jared, how about you know what, Jared? How about you take the floor for a minute, man? Because me and Matt got cool off for a minute.
Jared agrees with me.
Oh wow, man! South Shore. I guess they were in the championship in 2017 or 2018. I think they actually were, which was a little bit before my time them playing. But listen, great year last year in the Final Four, but you lost all those seniors. You have Adrian, but I just gotta see what's next, and I gotta see what's next. So I have respect on their names, but it's gonna tell a lot this season with how they reload, or if not, in the 4A. So respect is on their name. We'll talk. I'm sure we'll have a big preseason rankings thing in August or anything like that. Are they in the top 4 right now? I don't know.
So maybe I am the only one. Okay, all right.
Listen, we are in May. Listen, we are in May, and like I said, I like to think of
transfer
teams.
portal hasn't even opened yet. PSAL transfer portal hasn't even totally completely opened yet. It's kind of open, but not completely.
I like to look at things in groups, and yes. So hold on, it would be rude of me if I did not highlight. Yes, Coach Legree. I know that. Well, I did not mention that South Shore did make the championship in 2017 or 2018. Losing to E Hall. But just to make the argument, and Mac, you would know better than me. Being around the PSAL more. So I said what I said. The last 12 years. Has Lincoln in the last 12 years, Lincoln has won the championship twice, right? And I think they've been to multiple championships, right?
Yeah, the PSAL has changed since those days, though, right? The PSAL has taken a crazy turn within the last 2 to 3 years. So I don't want to go back prior to COVID. I want to keep everything. I want to keep everything in front of us from COVID on. And I think right now we're witnessing a turn in the league. And I think this year is going to actually confirm it. I guess I'm the only one. I thought Jared was on my side with this one. I see he still stands over there at Coney Island. My representation.
They're really not paying the electric bill no more, huh?
My representation will be on Flatlands Avenue if I had to take a team to make the top 4 in the 4A. But I guess that's what the season is here for. This has really got me excited that you guys stand on that side of the fence, which is pretty interesting. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I also want to mention I have some kids over there at Lincoln that I rock with. You know what I'm saying? I rock with Jaden, who just transferred from Canarsie over to Lincoln. I had him since the 6th grade. LeBron, been watching him since he was 3-point Spartans. But I do want to mention that Lincoln did graduate like 20 seniors. Like, is anybody not like? Am I the only one here?
They graduate a lot. You're right about that.
Yeah, like what are we?
But so did South Shore, man.
True.
South Shore graduated a lot, including Nick Cyrus, and
True.
and
All right.
Noah O'Connor's going to reload.
You guys listen. It's valid points on both sides. South Shore did graduate a lot of kids, and they have a young team right now. I guess we gotta wait to what Jared said about the transfer portal.
Yeah, because it's open right now, but everyone knows the real moves get made in the summer, man.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about the transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? I kind of stay out of there. You know what I'm saying, Jared?
I think y'all are calling it the
stay out of there. I
portal,
don't know
man.
what's going on there, but yeah, let's see what happens. I'm sure we have a lot of news outlets on social media. We have a page called the Barista or the T page, and we have GG Sports who posts, keeps us in the loop with the transfers. So,
Shout out to everybody.
Oh yeah.
Gotta see what happens.
Real quick to Coach Legree, asking what our record will be. So I'm going to speak on it. So I'm personally not calling out records. You know me, I like to group teams, and I guess let's call it their floor, what I think is going to be their worst case scenario, or I guess their ceiling and their floor, let's call it. How many losses I think they can get in their worst season, and if they have their worst season, and how many losses I think if they have their best possible season. So to be clear, I believe that Curtis, Tottenville, and E Hall, their floor and their ceiling are 0 losses or 2 losses. Lincoln, I believe their floor and their ceiling is 1 to 3 losses. And then I think there's about, 9 teams that could be anywhere between 2 to 6 losses. And I have South Shore in that group, me personally.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Man.
That's where I'll disagree with you.
Where is my glasses, man?
Dre, that's where I'll disagree with you on that, because I don't think South Shore is, ahead of Lincoln in my eyes. But when you look at South Shore's schedule, their ceiling has to be 7-1. And not I think you said 2 to 6 losses, but yeah, it's definitely, I think 7-1. Yeah, I don't think they're beating Tottenville week 1. I just don't.
Let me be clear with my word. I definitely was clear. I said if they have their worst or their best. That's what I'm saying. So yes. So in my opinion, yes, 2 losses is, I think, would be their best.
Their best. Okay.
But I guess if you want, you can throw them into 1 loss. Then that's okay.
I think their worst is 4. Like, I'm looking at their schedule, and that's like their absolute worst, I think. I don't even think they lose 4. I mean, because you have Brooklyn Tech, Fort Ham, and JFK and Eagle 2, which are all, good teams, but maybe 4 at their worst. But I don't even know if I can say that.
That's fair. Everybody has their own interpretations,
Interesting, man. I like it. No, seriously, I like this. Wow.
We only went through 3 weeks. So let's keep it moving. Of course, we have some fun there. So yeah, if you look at week 4 to 6, I think the games that definitely stand out to me, taking a quick look, of course, the rematch of the city championship in week 6, E Hall versus Curtis. I mean, what do you think about that one, Jared?
You said E Hall Curtis?
E Hall Curtis week 6.
Oh man. Do you know if that's at Sid Luckman or the Castle?
Yeah, that's at Sid Luckman.
Oh,
very strange, but yeah, it's at Sid Luckman.
It's at Sid. Wow. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be quite a game, man. And for E Hall, it really goes without saying, but after last year, losing to Curtis twice, the streak ending, not winning a championship, man, it's gonna be insane with how personal that one's gonna be. I think the whole city's coming out for it, and yeah, that one.
So
that's gonna be legit.
Curtis is graduating a lot of kids or a lot of their starters as well. And I feel like Erasmus is bringing back most of their starters, but Curtis has gotten some transfers in.
Yeah.
Um,
Will Andrade, man,
he's nice.
His highlight tape.
Yo, he's nice, man.
That's a transfer from Monsignor Farrell.
Farrell, yeah, he's really good, man. That's gonna be a huge addition for him. Losing number 44. That's. I guess this kid replaces him because he plays running back as well, and they still got
Muzakis.
That's gonna be an interesting game. And then this is week 6. Yeah, outside of that, like a new door. Yeah, I think everybody else is going to just pretty much know who's going to take care of business outside of that game.
You have Tottenville, Lincoln.
No, that's Tottenville Eagle.
No, I'm looking at week 5. I'm looking at all 3 of the weeks.
Okay. Oh yeah. Tottenville, Lincoln. I'll save my comments on that. Canarsie Eagle, JFK Curtis, Canarsie Eagle, Port Richmond, Fort Ham. That'll be a great upset for Port Richmond to win that. That'll be a big upset. New Dorp.
The South Shore game you're talking about?
Game of the week, New Dorp, Brooklyn Tech.
Yeah, Port Richmond could start 2-0, by the way.
Yo, I know that. Yeah. Whoa, 2-0?
In a weird way, they could actually start 2-0.
That'd be amazing for them to start 2-0. Port Richmond, New Dorp. Oh, shit. Yeah, man. It definitely.
Things have to go a certain way, of course, with how the offseason shapes out and everything, but I could see it.
Yeah, that's why I gave such a wide range of 2 to 4 losses for those teams, 2 to 6 losses for those teams, because it's like, I mean, like Port Richmond, New Dorp. I mean, who knows how that's going to go? Like Port Richmond can easily start 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2, depending on how Canarsie reloads. And I really feel like that's the story for all of these teams. Like no one knows how good Brooklyn Tech is actually going to be. Talk about respect. You got to throw some respect on Brooklyn Tech's name, the 3A champs, moving up to the 4A. For Hamilton. I even said it on my on the Sage page. Aiden Porter, breakout player watch. Telling you, Aiden Porter, definitely a breakout player watch, man. So,
yeah, underdogs versus Foreham for sure.
So that's the whole thing. Like, if Brooklyn Tech is an excellent team, right, and that's going to be a big matchup for them, week 2 versus South Shore, I think you're going to see a lot. They're definitely favored against Clinton, but
Well, Andre, what are you trying to say? I mean, I hate to get to this point. So, all due respect to Brooklyn Tech for winning the 3A championship, I think Brooklyn Tech is like super well coached. Very, very well coached. They're super disciplined, and their offensive line is usually solid. But like I was saying about the South Shore Tottenville game, when you have just like superior athletes on your side of the ball, it tends to it's going to tend to go your way. So going into the Brooklyn Tech, I don't think Brooklyn Tech is going to see a whole different version of football because of the athletes at some of these schools. It's just going to be like, all right, wow, like we really wasn't expecting that. The toughest player Brooklyn Tech probably saw last year was a kid from Fort Ham, number 0.
Well, they also had a team with Travis Gamble. I mean, that 3A was very, very good last year.
No, Travis as well. My bad, Travis as well. Yeah. But yeah, maybe this game will be interesting. And Brooklyn
Remember,
Tech,
they have Tristan Suarez coming back, who scored 4 touchdowns in that title game.
I like Tristan Suarez a lot. Actually. Yeah. Maybe this game. Yeah, like said, man, Brooklyn Tech has great coaches. Like they're gonna coach their kids up. And it's not like I know Jared was talking about the transfer portal. Unfortunately for Brooklyn Tech, they can't really even get to join that party, which I heard is a great party, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really, geeking in there.
I was gonna bring this point up. I heard that they were kind of putting in work at that 7-on-7 at Lincoln.
Yo, no, definitely. I mean, guys were catching one hand catches. It was super impressive to see Brooklyn Tech out there. And I mean, just looking at them, just coming onto the field, it wouldn't look like they had ballers, but like I said, just well coached, being in the right spot at the right time. The timing of their routes, like the kids are sharp. They're Hey, crazy, man. Yeah, just well coached, man. Being in the right spot at the right time. Dre, I mean, as this podcast goes on, you're convincing me otherwise than my original thoughts. So maybe Brooklyn Tech and South Shore might be a game. Hopefully we can attend.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's May. Like it's May. We haven't seen any. I don't judge 7-on-7s and kids running around in t-shirts and lifting weights in t-shirts, whatnot. It's all about once we actually see how these teams are put together. And again, I love that. I personally believe there's such a wide range of so many teams. How many years have we come in and said, okay, it's going to be Erasmus, Tottenville or Curtis, Lincoln, and then whoever else. I don't believe it's going to be that way. And for those top teams, I don't think you guys are smoking a cigar. I think you guys do have to come out and play very well. A lot of these teams, let's say, Eagle Academy, they made the playoffs. Week 6, they have a big matchup against Tottenville. That's where you can really make a stamp on your name. And from what I've seen from the schedule, just about, there's a very large portion of teams who play 2 of the top 4 teams. South Shore, they only play 1, being Tottenville, so that's where they definitely get a big advantage. Ed, no, I did not. So, if Eagle is able to get a win versus Tottenville, that's a win that you wouldn't, appreciate them. You wouldn't expect them to get, and it would just change everything. Because you're going to assume that, Eagle plays Erasmus Hall and Tottenville. They're going to lose both of those games. If they're able to sneak one of those wins, it throws everything off. So we'll definitely see. So, even in these matchups, if you see some of the big teams playing, smaller teams, like I said, it's only May. Like, let's see how these teams can put it together. So I definitely don't think the traditional top 4 are smoking a cigar in this part of the schedule.
No, absolutely. I can agree with that.
And if we move towards the end here,
has it always been like, or maybe just the past 2 years, like Curtis Tottenville to end out the regular season?
That's a good point. Happened last season. I'm not sure that's a regular thing.
Yeah, someone in the chat let us know. It was really awesome to see them playing at the Staten Island
it was cool.
Stadium.
It felt like, neutral site, the 2, Staten Island public school powers, obviously big rivalry, kind of felt like a little Michigan, Ohio State vibe end of the season,
Jared, speaking of rivalries.
Let's hear it.
We have a newborn rivalry that just transpired probably last season, which I am super excited to see. Right here, oh, is that rivalry week, Dre? Week 7?
Oh, sorry. That is actually from last year. Sorry, I should delete that.
Okay. Oh, okay. But yes, we have a new rivalry that just kind of came about last season. I'm excited to see South Shore versus Eagle.
You're right. Oh, especially after last year. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, with the wing stop and you know what I'm saying, the flats on the field. I think Eagle is making some noise this off season. They might be in that party that I was speaking about earlier. And I think that's going to make that game. So maybe, all right. So I had South Shore losing one game. Depending
Hold on a second, Mac. Hold on a second, Mac.
Uh-huh.
Hold on a second. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, Lyle, y'all listening now? Just make sure y'all in the chat and listening.
No,
Like, somebody go get them because they trying to fry me up. So hold on. Make sure y'all listen for this part. All right, go ahead, man.
I'm speaking real.
Go ahead.
Depending on how the party goes this summer, and if the DJ is playing the right music, that game could be. Where's that game?
That game's at South Shore this year.
At South Shore. Oh, that game could be interesting. A few things have to go, like you said. All right, like you said. So, Dre, I can agree with you on this. We're in May. A lot of things can happen. No, you're right. A lot of things can happen from May to August for sure. Yeah, that game is going to be a lot more interesting, depending on how things go this summer for sure, man. Definitely a newborn rivalry. Last year, they played it at Eagle. I think Eagle is going to take that personal. They remember that feeling. They remember TYJ's Instagram posts about them eating the Wingstop. Lyle ordered it at halftime. You know what I'm saying? So that should definitely be a game. Outside of that game for week 7, everything else may get. No, Newdorp for him may be okay.
Listen, Newdorp is very under the radar. I only know John Rose. I would like to, get to know that program a little more. Maybe someone can invite me out or something like that. I would like to learn more about Newdorp, but again, another team, we got to see what they have. I do think John Rose is one of the better quarterbacks in this whole league. So if they usually have some, big guys up front. So I'm excited to see Newdorp because, again, you guys have to remember some of these teams that you might be like, oh, these teams were so bad last year. They finished 0-9. Their schedules were brutal.
It was tough. Yeah, it was tough.
So you have to remember the Port Richmonds, Wagner, Newdorp, they're free. They're freed from the shackles of that schedule last year.
That's true.
You South Shore guys in the chat are absolutely hysterical. Calling it the Wingstop Bowl. Listen, we're all here for that. I'm here for the football, but the extracurriculars are that's what brings the interest, Jared, how about your thoughts on week 7 and week 8?
So if Eagle pulls off the win against South Shore, what they do after the game is going to be so interesting, because they're definitely scheming something up. So that's got to be really funny, but they got to win the game first. But yeah, end of the regular season, man. I think it's gonna be really good. I'm looking at it some games will be close, some maybe not so close, but I really like the finale of the regular season, right? You got E-Hall Lincoln, Curtis Tottenville. Doesn't get, much better than that. But then these also have games where it's gonna be such playoff implications by the end of it, of course. I mean, I'm sure Eagle's gonna be looking to get in there. Wagner's obviously got some playmakers. All these teams are gonna be in playoff contention. So there's gonna be games where, Port Richmond and Clinton both might be fighting for one of those last spots towards the end of it, or fighting for seedings, right? JFK playing South Shore, Fordham against Brooklyn Tech. Also, the rematch of the 3A final. I mean, that's awesome.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I just noticed as I was looking down. Fordham, Brooklyn Tech. I mean, that game, the emotion on a lot of those players just in general, seeing that other team across the field after what transpired last season, that's awesome.
Yeah, and another game I want to shout out, you guys might think I'm crazy, Tottenville JFK. That's a rematch of the quarterfinals last year. And at the end of the first half, if I'm not mistaken, the score was only 14-13. JFK was right in there. So
that's because Tottenville was practicing new plays. All right, let me
Yo,
stop.
where are the JFK representatives? Arrest this man.
Oh man.
The Bronx slander is crazy.
Oh, man.
Yo, you're supposed to defend the Bronx, Coach E.
Oh, they don't
Where
get
you
along in the
going?
Bronx. That shit is a
Where
mess.
you going?
That shit is a mess, man. They don't get along.
Oh man.
Well, a game that I am looking forward to, since I don't want to seem like I'm slandering JFK, so I do want to see JFK South Shore. Last year I actually attended that game. Jay, you was there.
I was there. We were there.
Yeah, he said that they have the best Friday night games, and every time they score, the lights go off and it starts flickering red and white lights, and they play the song. If it wasn't for the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? That was dope. But South Shore went in there and straight disrespected them. Just was running up the score. So I'm pretty sure they feel it. Where's that game being played? Anybody know? South Shore, JFK? Is it
back in the Bronx?
Back in the Bronx.
They gotta go again?
I'm going back. Back in the
Bronx again, man.
Yes. So I'm definitely gonna go back to that game. Yeah, that should be a goal. I'm pretty sure.
This is not the South Shore show, but the last 2 weeks for them, excuse me, the last 2 weeks for them are two teams that are fiending, that should be fiending for get back.
Sure.
Fiending for get back.
Sure.
Between Lemon Pepper Eagle and the light show and the 4 touchdowns from Rich Perkins, I'm sure both of those teams are really looking forward to seeing them guys in purple over there. But yeah, Jared, I'm so happy you brought up that Fortingham Brooklyn Tech game. Really excited for that. And I do hope that this is a tradition, having E Hall, Lincoln, Curtis, Tottenville on the last week. That would be great.
Rivalries, yeah, I think that's awesome.
So this is an interesting one here. If they would have Eagles South Shore and E Hall Lincoln at a doubleheader at a neutral site. So I know there's a football podcast, but this is something I actually spoke about to a couple of Eagle guys about basketball. For the basketball fans out there, that Eagle Thomas Jefferson rivalry. If anyone's familiar, Eagles basketball gym is very, very small, and there's always a line out the door for Eagle Thomas Jefferson. And I'm sure these two games have that same kind of ilk to it. The big argument against doing something like this is one of these teams lose a home game, which there's going to be a lot of people at those games. But Jared, what do you think about neutral site games for these kind of Brooklyn rivalries?
I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm honestly, and it's so much harder said than done. But one of the things that I would love is if we could have a doubleheader, or even a triple header if the times we're able to do that, of non-league games in the beginning of the year. You get Erasmus and Hayes, Tottenville, Farrell, and another one or something at a neutral site in New York City, and bring the whole city together, maybe a little public versus private. Something like that would be really cool. I think.
Sorry to cut you off, but week 0 they are doing in Staten Island. Tottenville's playing.
They get something like that.
I think Tottenville's playing more Catholic, is it? I forget
what it is.
Peters.
They have something similar to it, but they don't have. Tottenville's not playing Farrell, at least from my knowledge, and Hayes E Hall is still a game scrimmage, which is good, but not an official game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they have made a lot. New York City has made a lot of progress of those non-league games. Listen, Curtis St. Peter's should actually be really good. Obviously Curtis is going to be really talented, and St. Peter's, they have guys, and they have a lot of talent. They just got more Catholic head coach as well, so some good coaching coming over there too.
Peters was runners up last year, right? They lost to St. Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, Lincoln plays more, so
Oh,
that's
it's Lincoln and more. Okay.
which, yeah, unfortunately becomes a little bit less entertaining now, but still should be really fun. Good private versus public.
Mac, what do you think about this one I have on the screen?
Ed, I'll get to you in a second.
Your Lincoln. So sadly, man, and this is what I'm trying to work on in the city, and I know it's probably harder with me coaching. But the coaches, I don't think the coaches are gonna come together and make things like this happen. It would be dope. Um, and yeah. So I don't know if you guys. I think I heard Jared saying it, but I think there should be an event prior to the season, like in those 2 weeks that we play those non-league games, where we have just public versus private at one location, like a Hayes, E Hall, Lincoln Moore, all on the same day, and it would just be back-to-back games. You can get like 3 games. It would just be one location. And the only thing that we probably can happen at is Eagle. I mean, Eagle has the two sides. It probably holds the most spectators out of all of the stand. I think it probably holds more than Millwood. Millwood would never let something like that happen, but it'll be dope, man, to have like that kind of event. It'll be great, another great event for the city. Yeah, hopefully, I kind of tried last year. I tried, but I tried like late. I'm gonna try again next season, not this season. Upcoming, the following season, and I'll reach out to the coaches and see if there's something that they could possibly want to do. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be tough. There's too much politics going with that.
I don't remember the name of the stadium, but some of the Lincoln guys in the chat know. Lincoln went to play one of the teams out in Jersey. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe St. Thomas, Bishop Moore, St. Thomas Aquinas.
St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, and so they headlined that, being the very last game.
Yeah,
but they were like 4, 5 games before that. It was like a
that's how they do it in Jersey, Dre. Yeah, it's a stadium called Hinch Life Stadium. Out here, the equivalent to what kind of Move the Chains is to New York City. They have an organization out here called Zone 6. Zone 6 kind of like orchestrates all of those games. So every year, it's a weekend. It's a whole weekend of those kind of things. So they have it at Hinch Life Stadium, and it's like 4 games, and it's like a Saturday and Sunday, and it's just a bunch of games. And that stadium is, I mean, we don't have nothing like that in the city, but we could do it on a little smaller scale. So everybody would kind of come together.
I hear you, man. And I hear you. So no, appreciate that comment. That actually brought up a really good little topic. But it's May. It's already we're over 2 hours into this already. So we are gonna start wrapping it up soon. I'm just looking through the Instagram questions. Appreciate some of you guys submitting it. I'm not gonna out anyone except Monty saying Midwood Championship. We're gonna refrain from talking about the 3A so much. I know there's a lot of 3A support in here. Just out of respect for Mac. Obviously, Mac is leaving the show to go coach, so we don't want to get Mac in any hot water talking about some of the teams he's doing again.
Shout out to Midwood. You know what I'm saying? That's the home team.
Wait, do you have to see Midwood this year?
We do. Last game of the season, we do.
That is so. That's literally the Mac Bowl. The Mac Bowl.
They have my guy William Forte, 7-on-7 with Bermuda Chains. So I've kind of been with him the entire off season. I met his mom this past weekend at the Rising Stars Bowl. I mean, listen, I'm a Midwood guy, through and through. I'm a Midwood guy. I want to see the best of Midwood. I want to see Midwood go 7-1. I think Midwood can go 7-1. But yeah, for sure, man.
Some good stuff.
Sorry.
Also, I just want to address Coach Ed real quick. I was talking about progress in the sense of I think some privates and publics playing each other in New York City. It's kind of increasing a little bit more, which is awesome. Like Curtis, playing more last year and now playing St. Peter's and the whole E Hall Hayes game scrimmage last year and now happening again is awesome. The Moore Lincoln matchup is good. So I think, being on that track with, PSAL schools being able to play against Catholic schools is something good. And yeah, so
yeah, Hector, we don't play Red Off this year, man. Sadly, that was a nice friendly rival we had going on for a couple of years, but now it's not on the schedule.
oh,
No, but that's literally the Mac Bowl. I'm so excited for that. And one thing that came in, like, yes, like we touched on it earlier, but just seeing I feel like there's an increase in the amount of New York City athletes getting college looks. Shout outs to everyone putting on camps and showcases and this and that. Jared was at a showcase and he went to an all-star game. Like, so shout out to us. I mean, we're putting in a lot of work. But most importantly, big shout out to the players. You all deserve it. Make sure you're getting it done on and off the field for sure. And if you keep doing that, those blessings are going to come. Players to watch out for in the Bronx and Manhattan. When I think I'll let everybody go through it, but I think probably the best player in the Bronx and Manhattan is Nino Betances. That counter reverse is
and
all Nino, man, and he is one of the fastest players in this whole league. Very excited to see what JFK can put. My guy Manny, very good back as well. I'm not sure actually how old Manny is. If he's in the chat, let me know. I don't know if you're going to be a senior, if you're going to be a junior. And then, of course, is Jeremiah Sanat, the young gunslinger. Really like his game a lot, and I think he's going to improve so much more. I really hope the coaches kind of trust Jeremiah a bit, let him air the ball out a bit more because I think he's very capable. And some of the guys that we saw in the Rising Star game. We see how the D linemen from APR are going to give it up. So,
Jair Edwards, man, and Rock.
let's see. Anything else I can talk about? Mac, talk to Youssef. Yeah, he has some opinions on the game, like the sack.
You said wanted to come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know where he went. I gave him the link. He was supposed to
You
come
did?
on. He just never did. I sent him the link. He just never came on.
Yeah, by the time I look at my phone, we had already moved on, man. I definitely want. I haven't even spoken to him since the game. I think he wanted to come on and share some comments about the game, man.
Yeah, man. So I think that's we can call it a show. Of course, we will let Mac have his take a bow
man.
and all that.
Man.
But Jerry, we're not coming back every week, but we're it's had a special episode. We'll be back once it gets closer to the regular season. So, what you said? I thought I was supposed to come on when you told me to. We got you another time, Yusuf. Don't worry. You never joined, Yusuf.
Yeah, I didn't know you sent me the link. I didn't know. I would have.
I
got you with some.
Jerry,
man.
Yeah, Jerry, your final words on all the action this weekend. You can even shout out the Elite Showcase a bit. Shout out to Abraham Lincoln and hosting that.
Yeah, definitely. It was such a great weekend for New York City football. Shout out Elite 5 showcase out at Lincoln. That was awesome. Pat Godfrey did a good job there. And then shout out Mac and everyone who was involved in the Rising Stars Bowl. It was special. And also what I love too, I said it about this event last year, and I got that same feeling once again, when I was on the field after the game and at halftime. Like, New York City football, it is such a community. And same with Long Island, how everyone really came together. I was talking to, everyone that I basically saw, and yeah, very family-like environment right there. Everyone's in it for the right reasons, and to get everyone as much exposure and compete. So that was always, that was awesome. And shout out the chat. It felt great being back.
Yeah.
And thank you to both of you two guys, because man, it's been an incredible run to be back in May and do this right now. Awesome. Can't beat it.
Yeah, man. So I'll let Mac get the final word and sign us all out. But like, this is the trio right here, man. I really feel like we built this to a point where, yeah, it's on the Sage Media YouTube page, but I feel like I can be replaced on here, man. Like, we really built an awesome platform. You know, Coach, you can give me a call after the show, man. My logic is very solid. Anyway, I like I said, even though it's on the YouTube and Sage Media YouTube, I feel like I can be replaced by Monty, by Adrian, by Lyle.
Monty.
That's definitely that's definitely the dream, man. I didn't really start Sage Media to be in front of the camera. Kind of just worked out this way. But Mac, Jared, you guys have supported everything I'm doing from day one. I feel like we're kind of a triangle to support each other. What we've probably done 14, 15, 16 episodes of these. Mac, this is not the last time you're going to be on the show, obviously. But like I said, we want to respect your professional contacts and everything like that. You can't be talking crazy about APR then going to play them the next game. Wouldn't want to put you in that position.
Listen, man. Before I get out of here, man, I just want to say, Dre, you did an amazing job with this platform, with this show. Yeah, man, this whole idea from day one, when you reached out to me and Jared, into where it is today. So the most.
Oh, whoa! I cut Mac off. Oh my God.
Oh wow! All right. Yeah, when you hit me up and you said that we could do a surprise episode today, I was kind of shocked and honored. I thought the last episode that we did back in the fall was it. I'm glad we got to get this out. I'll still be tuning in. I'll be in the comments with Lyle. Wow, man. I can't wait till you drop who's the replacement. If I had to vote, I would probably vote my guy LJ or Ed. LJ or Ed. Or both. Yo, I ain't even think about who I was just playing. Until Dave just said that shit makes the moment like not even like sentimental. Yeah, it shit makes it like kind of wild actually. Yeah. Yeah, man. But yo, thank you guys. I'll definitely be tuning in. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Jared. Thank the chat. Yeah, too joking. Yeah, but thank you guys, man, for real.
I was absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, too funny.
Unreal.
Oh man, listen. Appreciate everybody. We will be back late summer. This was a lot of fun. Definitely follow Mood to Change, follow Uzzi Sports, follow Sage Media. There's a lot to look forward to. This schedule is awesome. And we didn't even talk about the 3A, the 2A, and the 1A, because I think there's a lot of exciting games throughout all of the levels of football in the PSAL. It's been a pleasure covering it. Hopefully we can continue doing it at the same capacity, but we can only do that if you guys support us, man. So appreciate everybody.